You've just finished your meal, a beautifully roasted chicken, the smell still lingering in the air, and your dog, as usual, is staring at you with those pleading eyes. It's almost impossible to resist, right? You look at the bone on your plate and think, surely, it's fine to give them this little leftover. After all, it's just a cooked chicken bone. They're soft, so what could go wrong? But hold on. Before you toss that bone to your furry friend, I'm here to tell you something you might not expect. The truth behind cooked bones isn't what you think. Cooked bones are far more dangerous than most of us realize. And today, I'm going to show you why you need to rethink giving your dog that bone and what you can safely give them instead. Stay tuned, because this might just save your dog's life. So, here's the deal. For as long as most of us can remember, we've been told that cooked bones, especially those soft ones like chicken or turkey, are safe for dogs. You might have heard it from a friend, a vet, or even from family members. Oh, it's fine. My dog's eaten cooked bones for years, and they're perfectly fine. Well, this is one of the most dangerous myths out there. And it's not just a harmless misconception, it's a deadly one. Let me give you a quick story to illustrate just how dangerous this myth can be. A couple of months ago, I was in a vet clinic when a dog came in for treatment. The dog had been given a cooked chicken bone, just a small one. The owner thought it would be a nice treat. But within hours, the dog was choking, and by the time they got to the vet, that small, soft bone had become a nightmare. The bone had lodged in its throat, blocking the airway and putting the dog in grave danger. Thankfully, the vet was able to remove the bone, but not all pets get that lucky. This is an issue that happens more than you'd think. Cooked bones aren't just a bad idea. They're a real threat that could harm your dog in ways you might never expect. Now, you're probably wondering, why exactly are cooked bones so dangerous? Well, it all comes down to the way bones change when they're cooked. Raw bones, when chewed, are tough but flexible. They have a certain amount of elasticity that helps them bend and absorb the force of chewing without breaking into sharp, dangerous pieces. But when you cook bones, whether by roasting, boiling, or frying, something changes inside that bone structure. Here's the science behind it. Cooking the bones causes them to lose moisture. Collagen, which is the protein that gives the bone its structure and flexibility, breaks down under heat, making the bone dry, brittle, and hard. This change in structure makes cooked bones prone to splintering. These sharp bone fragments are dangerous because they can break into jagged pieces that are sharp enough to puncture or tear through your dog's internal organs. Now imagine that. Small pieces of bone traveling down into your dog's stomach or intestines, causing cuts, tears, and bleeding. It's terrifying, isn't it? These injuries can be life-threatening, and unfortunately, dogs who ingest cooked bones can experience everything from severe internal bleeding to infections and, in the worst-case scenarios, death. The sad reality is that many dogs don't survive if the injury isn't treated immediately. All right, so now you understand why cooked bones are so risky. But let's talk about what happens if your dog does eat a cooked bone and how you can spot the early signs that something's seriously wrong. When a dog swallows a cooked bone, there are a few things you need to watch for. First, if your dog starts to gag or cough uncontrollably, it's a red flag. This could be a sign that the bone is lodged somewhere in their throat or airway, and it could lead to choking. Don't wait to see if it passes. This is an emergency situation. Next, pay attention to your dog's behavior. If they start drooling excessively or seem to have difficulty swallowing, those could be additional signs that the bone is causing an obstruction. And if your dog starts vomiting, especially if the vomit is mixed with blood or looks abnormal, that's a serious warning sign. Vomiting could mean that the bone has caused an internal injury or has started to perforate the digestive tract. Bloody stools, or tarry, dark-colored stool, is another critical sign of internal bleeding. If you see blood in your dog's stool or vomit, don't hesitate to get them to the vet as quickly as possible. Waiting can make the situation worse, and in some cases, it can even be too late to save your dog. And here's something that a lot of people don't realize. Sometimes, the damage is not immediately obvious. A dog might not show signs of distress right away, and the injury might not become noticeable until hours or even days later. That's why it's always a good idea to err on the side of caution and seek veterinary care if you suspect your dog has eaten a cooked bone. You might be wondering, what's the big deal if I wait a little bit? It doesn't seem like a major issue. Well, I can tell you that the longer you wait, the more dangerous the situation becomes. If you don't act quickly, internal injuries from the bone can become more severe. You could be dealing with a punctured lung, a perforated stomach, or even a ruptured intestine, any of which could lead to sepsis, which is a life-threatening infection. The unfortunate truth is that many dogs don't survive because owners didn't act fast enough. A dog that eats a cooked bone could require emergency surgery to remove the bone and repair the damage it's caused. If the bone isn't removed, it can cause even more severe issues, such as gangrene, which could require amputation of affected organs or tissues. If left untreated, the consequences can be devastating. Dogs who experience internal bleeding can go into shock, and the damage may be irreversible. This is why it's so important to act fast when you suspect your dog has eaten a cooked bone. Now that we've talked about why cooked bones are so dangerous, let's get to the part that everyone's waiting for. What can you give your dog instead of those cooked bones? Well, thankfully, there are safe alternatives that are just as satisfying for your dog's chewing needs, and they don't come with the risk of internal injuries. Raw bones are one of the best alternatives. Raw bones, particularly large, meaty ones, are much safer for dogs to chew on. They're more flexible than cooked bones, which means they won't splinter and cause dangerous injuries. Plus, they're packed with nutrients like calcium and phosphorus that are great for your dog's teeth and bones. Some excellent choices are beef knuckle bones, marrow bones, or large chicken wings. Be sure to supervise your dog while they're chewing, as even raw bones can pose a choking risk if they break into smaller pieces. If you're not comfortable with raw bones, there are plenty of other dog-friendly chew toys available that are specifically designed to be durable and safe. Rubber, nylon, and even some biodegradable plastic chew toys are great options for dogs that love to chew but don't need the danger of splintering bones. These toys can also help with dental health, just like bones do, but without the risk of sharp fragments. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you just how crucial it is to keep an eye on what your dog is chewing on. Even if they beg for that cooked bone, the risk just isn't worth it. And remember, you're your dog's protector. If you're ever in doubt, it's always better to err on the side of caution and choose a safer option. Share this video with your friends, family, and fellow dog owners to help spread awareness about the dangers of cooked bones. The more people know, the safer our dogs will be. And if you've had any experiences with cooked bones, or if you have any questions, leave a comment below. Let's have a conversation and learn from each other's experiences. After all, our dogs are like family, and we need to keep them safe. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tips on keeping your furry friend healthy and happy. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there with your pets.